You're listening to the John and Heidi Show, now featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you in part by SiouxEmpireJobs.com and Mr. Farris. How you doing?
I'll tell you what, man, just right out of the chute this morning, got up, I was going to take a run.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I remembered, I don't do that.
I was going to say, I didn't know you were a runner.
Thank goodness.
I'd go running with you sometime.
Last minute.
Because I also don't run.
Got all suited up and went, whoa, dude, what
am I doing?
What are you doing? Holy cow. Birthdays today. What's happening? Matt Damon is 50.
Oh, wow.
Sigourney Weaver, who will be in the new upcoming Ghostbusters original cast. She is 71 today.
Nice.
And Johnny Ramone of the Ramones, born this day. This is interesting. The Ramones were around 22 years. I mean, they launched in the 70s, went up through, I think, about 1996. And a lot of people think that, these are brothers in this band. None of them were related. They all took the surname Ramone.
Oh.
They were not related at all.
So they weren't really a family band at all then?
Nope.
Well.
Nope. Johnny was lead guitar and one of the founders and, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. So there you go. Let's see here. 1945, the microwave oven was patented.
Oh.
Oh, really? In 45?
Mm-hmm. That was one of those completely accidental inventions.
It was, yeah.
Some lab guy, some scientist
Melted a
guy,
chocolate
where.
bar.
Yeah, he had a candy bar in his pocket, and I'm sure it was a white lab coat because he was a sciencey guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he was messing around, and he noticed that the candy bars kind of started melting, and he went, well, let's do this then. Twisty wires, and microwave. Bang, there you go.
Now they put inside like a little a box to keep everybody safe outside of it. So
there you go. Yeah, wear lead aprons using that stuff. What else is going on? Love this, 1873. Kind of surprising. 1873, the very first women's prison run by women. Opens at Indiana Reformatory Institute.
wow.
And I only bring that up because one of my all-time favorite movie classics, B-movie classics, 1983 classic, Chained Heat, with Sybil Danning and Linda Blair.
I like Linda Blair.
You have to see if I can find that one on the old YouTube machine.
And it was 1 year ago today that the FBI confirms Samuel Little as the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history.
Wow.
He was convicted of murdering 3 women in California, then 1 in Texas, back around 2012. Since then, he had claimed to have murdered as many as 93 women. Authorities have since linked him to 60 of those so far and still counting.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know if he gets a plaque for that.
Probably not.
Luncheon? I don't know what happens exactly.
It's a bad
He
dude.
ain't going out on the speaker circuit, I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not watching his TED Talk.
Okay, there you go. I know now. You know. We all know. And we can just bust this thing wide open.
And we will. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you in part by SiouxEmpireJobs.com.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Time now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm rough, tough, and ready. I'm a heck of a man. Eat my beans and weenies from a frying pan.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I love to wrestle bears and lasso ducks. Run over possums in my government truck.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves all the campers and the animals too. If you're picking on critters, I'm coming after you.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir. I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning there, you little rascals. You, Juan, you're looking good. Senorita Heidi, I got to be honest with you, I got nothing, but we are celebrating. I know it's a letdown. I know you're disappointed. You're going to go through the rest of the day kind of wounded, aren't you?
I might recover.
We'll see how that goes. This is Little Radio Rangers gather around the Rad Dad Daddy. We are celebrating we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah, that's right.
All the great things the Hispanic community has done throughout the course.
That.
And so we're kind of clocking in on places around the globe that happen to be connected to the great country of Hispania.
Okay.
And, of course, that includes places like Paraguay, of course, known worldwide for their low-cost fake wood flooring. And places like Panama, where they make canals, and one really great Van Halen song.
Hey, very good.
Today we're going to talk about Colombia. Colombia, what do we know about Colombia? This is pretty fascinating. We're going to get into critter, kind of, well, not necessarily indigenous to Colombia, but they do hang out there. We're talking about the humpback whale.
Oh, yeah.
One of the big, beautiful, gentle beasts of the sea. Humpback whale actually hangs out in Colombia about 3 months out of the year. Now, the humpback whale, you need to keep in mind, humpback whale gets its name from the fact that, one, it's a whale.
Yeah.
Two, it has kind of a humped back.
Wow.
Thank you, Wikipedia science! The humpback whale spends the majority of its summer times right there off the wonderful tepid shores of Colombia. And what it does is it hangs out, and it mates, and gives birth.
Okay.
So you can kind of think of it as kind of the human equivalent of Sandals Resorts. Now, tradition holds throughout the years that once the humpback whales have taking care of what they got to take care of, what happens is some divers who are hired, but what's known as cartels, are then filled with tons of cocaine and sent to the Florida Keys. Those humpbacks will regurgitate that cocaine where it's picked up by swarthy men in cigarette boats and then distributed throughout the United States of America.
Wow. I had no clue.
Science. That's all the time we have today, little Radio Rangers. Do keep in mind, if Ranger Dan doesn't do it, who will? NPR? I don't think so. Till next time, this is Ranger Dan out. Say it with me.
Yes, sir.
Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. Time right now for Water Cooler Talk, brought to you by ServPro Carpet and Duct Cleaning. And also Fire and Water Restoration.
Ooh, they're the bigs. Oh, absolutely. Adam and Jessica and Melissa and the crew. Let me ask you something. How are your carpets and ducts doing, America? Oh, sure.
They could be better.
You can think they're just fine, and I'm thinking you're probably dead wrong.
Got a dirty duck.
That's what I'm thinking. And again, and this is important, and I want to point this out. I mean, we are a commercial radio station.
We are.
Right.
Our money comes from people who partner with us and advertise with us.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. We don't just work with anybody. Pretty much everyone you hear advertising on these airwaves, we know them. We've worked with them in the past. We're really familiar with them.
We know and trust them, or we wouldn't even let them talk to you.
It's really imperative to us that when we put somebody out there, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal, and I'm frankly pretty proud of that.
I think it's a cool thing.
And a year and a half or so ago, when ServPro crew really did such an amazing job, we had horrible water damage to our studios and offices.
It was like Mother Nature hated us that day.
It was not good, and what they did was absolutely phenomenal. So with that in mind, when it comes to a carpet cleaning or cleaning your ducts, think of it this way. So you know somebody that can literally take a car engine totally apart, put it back together, make it run.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to do a pretty expert oil change.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's what this is. ServPro with carpets and ducts, man, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
I mean, the allergens and the dust and the pollens and all the things that affect your indoor life, man, they can make it far better. So it's pretty simple. For a deep clean you can see, just call 213-3303. 213-3303. ServPro Fire and Water Restoration. 213-3303.
And now, Water Cooler Talk.
Okay. we can take this personally because we're way ahead of the curve here.
Okay.
And thanks to my good friend Don Jorgensen down at Kello TV.
Good dude, yeah.
As I'm completely stealing this story, and he worked on it, he put it together, and I'm just plagiarizing it.
There you go.
Trouble in the news for area hunters. It's not exactly the hunting thing. It's not the getting thing. It's what you're going to do to get that animal rendered and dressed out.
Right.
Because the meat lockers
Right.
are
They're
way
backed up.
backlogged.
Yeah.
And this has been going on for quite some time. It happened, if you remember, when, the big pandemic became a big deal.
Yeah.
And for instance, Smithfield here in town and meatpacking plants across the country shut down.
Yeah, for just a short while, but it made a huge impact that we're still seeing.
Yeah, and there were shortages and prices were just hinky as all get out. And so what did we do? I know a guy.
Yeah, he is a pig guy.
Guy.
I know a guy. So we bought ourselves a pig. We named him Trevor. We raised him as our own.
He was delicious, by the way.
And then killed him and ate him. Oh, sure,
We did
that
not
sounds...
raise him as our own.
Sounds... Sure we did. We had right out in the backyard by Heidi's Garden. Farmer Heidi raised Trevor from just a pup. They're talking to one of the guy who runs a renter meat locker. He goes, we are backlogged. We got products still to get processed, hogs and cattle from the summer months that are still waiting.
Yeah.
And usually how it works is, farmers, whatever, they will bring some of their product in. But it's normally, most of the rendering they do is from hunters.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when that hunt starts and exactly what goes on. So don't be surprised.
See, and it's one thing when it's a pig because you can keep that pig alive for like another 6 weeks or whatever until it's time. But when you go hunting and you shoot a deer, you can't keep that deer alive for that much time. So what are they going to do with all these deer when they do have them?
Well, you do what I do. And I was a hunter. Well, I was a big fisherman more than a hunter. But when I do hunt, in the way I fish, I just started hunting the same way. You catch and release.
Oh, so you're going to go hunting and it'll be a catch and release program for hunters?
Pretty much. You'll feel better about it, and another hunter a chance to bathe in the glory. Renter locker say, we will still take, wild game this year, but when you bring it in, you better bring your patients with you.
Yeah.
And according to Renter Locker, about 3 months out, 4 months at best, and now we're about a year out. People are booking for 2022 already. Said it's craziness right now in the locker business. So just be aware. Yeah.
So they're planning for 2022.
Taking bookings for 2022.
To shoot a deer. I'm going to shoot a deer sometime next year. The year after next, actually.
I guess it could be fun, especially if you have kids or something. If you're a deer hunter, and go get yourself your little 4, 6, 8 point buck, whatever. Drag it home and let the kids take a shot at it. There's probably a YouTube tutorial.
What? Not even kidding. I had a neighbor who...
That's such a bad idea.
You probably got a spare bathroom.
When I was growing up, I had a neighbor that dressed a pig in our backyard because we had a tree that he could hang it from.
Yeah, and?
I'm walking home from school with friends, and there's a dead pig hanging out of a tree in my backyard. He's like, what's that all about? I'm
You
like,
think our founding fathers went down to the meat locker? I don't think so.
No, they didn't.
I'll take a bag of processed jerky, please.
Get it done. You don't want to mess up your house. I mean, you can get a Motel 6 for 40, 50 bucks. What?
Oh, with that, I think we're done. Dan, thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, if I'm not helpful, I'm not much.
I don't know if I should mention that they're a part of this, but Water Cooler Talk, probably regretfully, brought to you by ServPro for a deep clean you can see called
Exactly. It all fits in.
3303.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805. 10-08-20-05.
Time now for your bright spot of news, brought to you by Paul's Designer Showroom on Lake Lorraine in Sioux Falls. If you get a chance, by the way, stop in and see them at Lake Lorraine. They've got a bunch of beautiful light fixtures, and I believe they've got some of them on sale right now. When you stop in there, you got to check this place out. It's unbelievable. Again, it's called Paul's Designer Showroom. They've got a location in Watertown, and they've got one right here in Sioux Falls. It's on Lake Lorraine. It's a beautiful store. And again, a huge thank you to them for being the sponsor of our bright spot of news. Our news today, our spotlight, is going to shine on Big Paws Canine. I believe we're going to have Gail joining us tomorrow, but right now we're going to talk about an event that's coming up on Saturday. Here's what we're doing. Originally, it was going to be the Dog Days of Summer, but now it's a little bit too late for that, so it's just Dog Day. It's this Saturday, and I would love it if you'd stop by and see us. Our friends at Fairway Foods are helping us out with some hot dogs, and we're going to have a hot dog meal for just $5. You can stop by and see us at a place called Your Pet Stop. It's on 41st Street in Sioux Falls, and that's where we're going to be selling the hot dogs and doing this little fundraiser. And when you stop by, you can register to win a grill. It's a really cool grill. It's actually an electric grill from our pals at Fireplace Professionals and Barbecue Heaven. It's really cool. It's on a little cart, and the cart and the grill and the whole darn thing. It's a really, really nice package, and somebody is going to win this on Saturday. So we'll be there setting up in the morning, but from officially 11:30 a.m. until 2 p.m., you can stop by, you can buy your hot dogs, and you can register to win the grill. And then we're going to be calling somebody on Saturday to say, hey, congrats, you are the winner of the grill. And you can swing right back and pick it up, or we can make arrangements, whatever needs to be done. But again, the photo of the grill can be seen on our Facebook page, facebook.com/sunnyradio. I posted it there yesterday or maybe the day before. Also at facebook.com/Sioux Falls News. It's a really good-looking grill, and again, it's like a $600 value. Someone's going to win that on Saturday. It could be you. So swing by, get some hot dogs, feed the whole darn family. It's this Saturday, 10-10-2020 is the day. I think that's really cool. 10-10-2020, help us raise some money for a really good cause, Big Paws Canine. They help veterans and first responders who've been injured in the line of duty. They help them with a service animal, and they do amazing work. And I've had a chance to talk to several people who work with our friends at Big Paws Canine, and they are absolute heroes. And I would love it if you would come out and help us support that by making your donation. You can donate as much as you want. We're asking people to make a donation of $5 for each hot dog meal. And again, thank you to Fairway Foods for stepping up and helping us with that. And we're going to have many other people to thank as well on Saturday. So be sure to stop by and see us. We'll be there playing music, having some fun, and we'll be broadcasting on Sunny with more details that day as well. So it's all coming up this Saturday, 10-10-2020. You can stop by and help us raise some money for Big Paws Canine. All of the details at facebook.com/sunnyradio and facebook.com/Sioux Falls News.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
And it's time right now for entertainment news of the day with Mr. Dan Farris.
Because celebrities are fabulous. Fabulous. I don't even pretend to know how some celebrities think, and that's what makes them fabulous. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sure. Sometimes they just don't go down the same paths you and I do. Dolly Parton, I'm a huge fan.
I've always loved Dolly.
Love Dolly. Dolly is creeping up on her 75th birthday.
Okay.
I think I know where you're going with
Perhaps you recall, it was back in 1978. She graced the cover of a little thing called Playboy magazine. Yeah. Now, number one, I didn't even know Playboy was still being published, but apparently it is.
Yeah.
Right.
I had no idea. It's never really been
by women now.
My vibe. And so she was recently being interviewed on a radio show on the BBC there across the pond there, and actually the host of the show brought it up. Said, hey, do you have any intention of doing it again? And she actually has been approached, but she's considering posing for Playboy at 75, as long as it's tastefully done.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. I mean, back in 78, she wasn't nude in
Right.
Playboy. She's actually a pretty classy lady. But why she would want to do that at 75, I don't know. I personally, but again, I can only be me. I stopped posing nude right around 2. Yeah, right around 2.
Yeah. I just think at that age, nobody really wants to see that.
But,
not even her husband wants to see that.
You just don't know.
It's kind of like,
I'm not saying that I want to see that, but I'm telling you, I guarantee you there are people who want to see that.
No,
There's a
it would be
marketer, they wouldn't be doing
strategically covered up and airbrushed and photoshopped and everything else. It's like it is what it is. Do I?
Right.
It's like I really could care less, but just thought it was kind of interesting. That Dolly Parton may be in Playboy. I'm like, hey, whatever, man.
Yeah. Is that going to affect your life somehow?
Well, it is. Again, you can do what you want. I can think whatever. I enjoy getting up every day in the greatest country in the world.
Amen.
And apparently being on the wrong side of history just because of my take on life in general.
Yeah.
For instance, there's a singer out there now named Cardi B. Yeah. For the first time in my life, I'm questioning the First Amendment.
Yeah. Do we really need
but
to have...
that's just me.
Do we need that much liberty? Really?
So we'll keep you posted on
and the crazy,
by golly dolly and see what's going on there.
Crazy thing you're talking about there is the new song she has that we're not going to mention the song on the radio.
I was completely done, John, but you keep going. Dig a hole, buddy. You just dig a hole, pal.
No, I was going to say, I don't know how that could even be played anywhere because,
it's not on radio anywhere.
First Amendment.
Yeah,
I suppose.
It's not a radio hit. It's
I thought I covered it pretty well.
Yeah,
coming up,
absolutely.
We're not going to be playing that, but I bet we'll have something. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris, brought to you by SiouxEmpireJobs.com.
Oh, jobs, baby.
If you have a credit card, our friends at BetterCreditCards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com. Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, October 8th, 2020. Equities rebound on Wednesday, erasing Tuesday's losses on renewed hopes for fiscal stimulus. A new round of tweets from President Trump indicated his support for targeted relief despite signs of a broader package that is stalled. Whether or not legislators will agree to stimulus is still in question, but it seems at least the idea is not completely dead. In other news, the Dow Jones Transportation Average edged up to set a new all-time high. This move is very bullish according to Dow Theory and could indicate further upside for the broad market. According to Dow Theory, a breakout in the transports usually leads to a similar move in the Blue Chip Industrial Index. Further, when a breakout in one index is confirmed by a breakout in another, robust gains usually follow. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.